feel way better.
Believe me, people have done many takes of many songs, so.
Okay. All right. Wonderful news. Okay.
Hi, and welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda. Today we have with us Vikae. Welcome.
Hey,
How's it?
thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. We're post-COVID, kind of, so we're all allowed to kind of interact and mingle and come around. So it's very nice to have you around.
Thanks.
How was the lockdown for you?
Well, I actually isolated with my my partner's family who live in Waiouru on a 1,500-acre farm.
Ooh,
in the middle of nowhere.
That's isolated.
Really isolated, and so I had very limited internet,
Yeah.
but all of my music gear. So I wrote 2 EPs during lockdown. I had nothing else to
Very
do, so I
good.
just wrote tons of music.
Excellent. So speaking of EPs, you have one that's just come out called Fine Lines.
Correct.
Right? And that came out a couple of weeks ago, last weekend, if I remember correctly, and we're going to hear some songs from it along with the new one.
Mm-hmm.
But we should find out a little bit more about you. So you're originally from the Ukraine.
Correct.
But you moved to New Zealand. So how did that happen?
Well, as we're all aware, the Chernobyl disaster happened in the 80s, and it really affected my mum and my grandmother and my grandfather's health quite severely, actually. And my mum's really close friend was a nurse in the hospital and was basically explaining how because of the Chernobyl disaster, because of the nuclear radiation, children were really, really sick, and access to healthcare was quite difficult, was quite stretched. So mum was kind of trying to get out of Ukraine for all those years, and so when she fell pregnant with me, it was sort of a perfect opportunity to pick the whole family up and come to New Zealand, literally as far away as possible.
Good move.
Yeah, absolutely, and sort of to sort of put it into perspective how limited and how stretched the medical healthcare system was. My granddad was really sick, he had cancer, but it went completely undiagnosed. No one understood what was kind of wrong with him until we came to New Zealand when they said, we're really sorry, it's terminal, but at least we were really lucky, we knew what it was. So, grandma lost all of her hair because of the radiation and stuff. So it was a really serious situation, and I think that mum just sort of knew that there would probably be some sort of medical complications in the future.
Right.
But coming to a place where a good healthcare system is in place was absolutely paramount, and also better opportunities, better schooling. It's just better.
Yeah. So you're healthy, are you?
Ish. I have my own medical problems, unfortunately, which is ironically where a lot of the inspiration from my music stems from. So I have endometriosis, a rare bladder disease called interstitial cystitis, and I also have bipolar. So it's a bit of a mixture, a bit of a mixed bag, but I'm very lucky and I'm thankful to be alive, and I think that people like myself need to tell the story so that other people who are in situations similar to mine or worse have an opportunity to connect with something and understand that there is someone else that has felt this way and that they're not alone. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's a good reason to make a few records and sing a few songs,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah, for sure.
So the first song that we're going to hear is something called Truth, and it's on Fine Lines.
Correct.
So when did you write this one?
So this was actually the first song that I wrote with my producer, Abigail Knudsen. And this song was written 2 years ago when I was going through my diagnoses and starting all this medication. And I was sort of beginning to find out a lot about myself and about the way that my mental illness operates. And I couldn't understand why all of my friends were kind of leaving me to my own devices. And despite that being maybe not the nicest thing to happen, I kind of understand that when you're exhibiting toxicity and maybe negative behaviour, there becomes a point when people are like, I've actually had enough. So that's sort of where the lyrics come. Why do you run away from me? Why do you run away from me? Tell me the truth. So that's where that kind of stems from. It's like, where are all my friends gone? that kind of thing. A bit self-deprecating, really.
Alrighty. Well, let's give it a listen, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Run, run, run. Why do you run, run? Run, run, run. I fall into nothing, dreaming I'm falling. Who am I becoming? Run, run away from myself, wishful thinking that there's something else. Tell me the truth, that I've been new, wasted my youth. Why do you run away from me? Are you choking, sipping on my poison? Tell me the truth. Are you tired of my manipulation? Are you tired, sipping on my poison? Are you tired of my manipulation? I hear you talking about me and laughing. Say I'm a joke and that I'll die with nothing. All that I loved is abandoning me. My mind, my friends, and my family. Why do you run? Why do you run away from me? Are you choking, sipping on my poison? Tell me the truth. Are you tired of my manipulation? Are you joking, sipping on my poison? Tell me the truth. Are you tired of my manipulation? Why do you run away from me? Why do you run?
Okay, we're here with Vikae. I've done it again. I've pronounced it correctly.
Yay!
I've been practicing all week, by the way.
I love that. I love that. We love practice.
Yeah. And we just heard Truth, which is from the Fine Lines EP. Now, we should note that you're playing the piano here, which
Yes.
is not what you normally hear on the EP, is it?
There is definitely keys in there, but the EP has been quite heavily produced. And basically the reason for that is I want to throw a party. So,
Right.
I want to throw a party and sort of have people moving and dancing. But I also think it's really important to showcase kind of both sides, both the produced side and also where the song comes from, which is basically voice and keys or voice and guitar, depending on the song.
So when you write, do you write on the piano?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Fine.
so we're hearing the original.
Exactly, the very
we're down
OG version.
And so when you perform live, Are you solo? Do you have a band that you play with? Or?
All me, myself, and I. I've got my Juno synth. I've got my laptop. I've got my launch pad. I've got my mixer.
I like that. You got a launch pad?
Yeah, it's all sadly not one to the moon. I'm working on that.
Good idea.
But metaphorical moon, make everyone have a good time.
Yep,
I don't know.
very good.
Yeah,
very good.
so quite different, but fun.
Cool. So the next song we're going to hear is not on the EP.
No.
So is it relatively new? It's called Silence.
It's actually been written for about a year now. It will be getting released eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bit of a plan for this one, but it's very dear to me. I don't want to say it's my favorite. They're all, my favorite for a different reason, but I think this is probably one of the most intimate songs that I've written.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we just listen to it and see what we
Sure.
think of it, okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
Intertwining willow trees, frozen lake and burning leaves, evil eyes they can't be seen, terrifying me. Forest finding envy green, nothing is quite what it seems. Is this real or make-believe? Picture perfectly apart, spiders, cobwebs cover hearts, empty chairs and empty holes. Were you even here at all? And the silence sings to me so sweetly, and the violence makes me feel alive. Hear the sirens and the drums they're beating, and the violence makes me feel alive. Padlock gardens, roses blue, burning bridges, dim lit hues. I don't know the road to you. Broken buildings made of glass, overgrown with vines and grass. It was never meant to last. Picture perfectly apart, spiders, cobwebs cover hearts, empty chairs and empty holes. Were you even here at all? And the silence sings to me so sweetly, and the violence makes me feel alive. Hear the sirens and the drums they're beating, oh, and the violence makes me feel alive, and the silence sings to me, and the violence makes me feel alive.
All right, we're back here at the 13th floor with Vikae. We just heard Silence, unreleased tune that we'll probably hear more about later on.
Absolutely.
And we're going to hear the title track from your EP in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I just was kind of curious as to what you where musically you're coming from to get to this point. So what have you listened to in the past that's kind of made an impression on you?
So, when I was young, I started playing the classical piano when I was 4 years old. by the end of high school, I wanted to be an opera singer.
Oh, great.
So I went to university to do just that. I went to Otago University. Halfway through my degree, I discovered bass music and was enamored with these cool sounds that I hadn't really sort of delved into before.
Right.
So then I switched my major to music theatre. Then I thought, I'm not a music theatre kid, so I'll do jazz. So then I did my honours year in jazz. Then I thought, this isn't going to work. I'll do a rock EP. And then, with all due respect, that failed miserably. So I thought, well, may as well come to Auckland and sort of do my own thing. So my influences really do stem from obviously a lot of classical music. Favourite band has got to be the Rolling Stones. Favourite songwriter, Taylor Swift. Love the Arctic Monkeys. Also love Katy Perry. Like, it's just this huge bubble of delicious sounds.
See, I wouldn't have picked the Stones.
Absolute favourite band. I went to their concert when they came in 2014 to
yes.
New Zealand, and it was...
Yeah, that was a good one.
Mick Jagger can put on a show. I mean, look, he's not, they're not top 10 most successful artists of all time for no reason.
It's
right?
a fact, yeah.
So, yeah, big fan.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you got to see them.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we have one more song that we're going to listen to, and it's the title track. It's Fine Lines. What can you tell me about that?
Well, Fine Lines basically touches on subjects of addiction and alcoholism, particularly something that unfortunately I have experienced myself. When I was a university student, party times became too many party times, and so come the lyrics, fine lines between the good times, which can be interpreted as literal or metaphorical depending on a person's interpretation of the song.
Okay, very good. Well, good luck with the EP.
Thank you.
It sounds like there's going to be more EPs following very closely.
Correct.
So are you in the middle of recording them, or just writing, or what's the story?
They're written. They're getting recorded in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
And I don't want to say when I expect it to be like out in public, because with the current climate,
Yeah,
it's
who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows? But definitely next year sometime.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you for coming by and playing
Thanks
your songs
for
for
having
us.
me.
It was fantastic.
Thank
and hopefully
you.
we'll see you out in the wine cellar or tuning fork or someplace around here. And
Well, all going well. I am going on a New Zealand tour with a band called Prince.
oh, yes, I know. Yep.
With fingers and toes crossed, a show in Auckland on the 19th,
Okay.
provided everything goes well.
We'll
Fingers
see you
crossed.
there then. Thank you.
Awesome.
And this is Fine Lines.
Hear the frequency, soaked up in secrecy. This indecency, I am popping pills like candy. Wide-eyed vacancy, waiting patiently, sad and aimlessly. I am Novocaine and brandy. Ay, one more time. I get high, speeding through my life. Don't need a reason. One more time. I get high. Cinderella's here to drown her feelings. Fine lines between the good times and the problems we have inside. Party hard, run and hide. Fine lines between the goodbyes and the problems we have inside. Party hard, run and hide. A conspiracy no one ever sees. The hypocrisy hypocrisy. I am feeling fine and lovely, inescapably, unashamedly, sad and aimlessly. I am driving myself wild. One more time. I get high, speeding through my life. Don't need a reason. Feed the fire. I get high. Cinderella's here to drown her feelings. Fine lines between the good times and the problems we have inside. Party hard, run and hide. Fine lines between the goodbyes and the problems we have inside. Party hard, run and hide. Falling, tumbling, feel the afterglow. Her Prince Charming brings an